Alright, all you insomniatic TV channel surfers out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And as a little bit of a heads up from what we said during the intro about the maestro watching the stuffing, apparently it has another 30 minutes on it, so yeah, thanks again, maestro, for the help. Apparently he used to work as a chef in some sort of restaurant back in the day, besides being someone who's professional at mixing on the ones and twos. Thanks, maestro. But besides Maestro's culinary skills that I got a feeling he got from the Food Network, I think it's time for us to go into a very special edition of the As Seen on TV. And the show we have up on the plate for this week is none other than Hey Arnold. And usually we have some build up for it and say, well, this is what it is, but yeah, it's just Hey Arnold. No build-up needed, according to the maestro. And the meat and potatoes of this said show is that a 9-year-old boy that goes by the name of Arnold, who was living with his grandparents after his parents went missing due to a plane-like adventure, would go to school with his best friend Gerald, only to solve problems of other people as he would live his everyday life in the city of Hillwood. Hillwood? I always thought this took place in Brooklyn because it looked like the Brooklyn Bridge was off in the distance, and not to mention the fact the name of one of the schools was Pt.2, which definitely sounded like a New York school. Hillwood, though, I didn't know that. And to further go into the I didn't know that sequence of the show, folks, one of the creators of this show that goes by the name of Craig Barlett was actually one of the animators who worked on the short of Penny that was featured during the classic show of Pee-wee's Playhouse. And after doing that said short on Pee-wee's Playhouse, he would slowly get inspiration with Penny's friend Arnold, who would slowly but surely grow into the show we know as Hey Arnold of today. And for those who also didn't know, besides working on Hey Arnold, he was also able to work on the pilot episode from his living room in 1994. Nice! And to further add on to the coolness of this show, folks, this show would not debut on television. It would have a pilot in cinemas during the Nickelodeon movie on July 10th of 1996, and would officially go on the air as of October 7th of 1996, basically later on that year, about 3 months out. And with all those meat and potatoes out of the way, what did I like about this show? Well, besides all of the cool music that was featured during it, including Dino's Spumoni, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention their version of Frank Sinatra during the show, especially with that cool song with Lady, You Broke My Heart, we're in pieces on the floor, now I think it's time to break some things of yours. And chances are, according to the maestro, I got the lyrics wrong on it, but nevertheless, definitely a cool cat if you ask me. And another thing that I loved about this show, speaking of characters, had to have been all the characters that was featured during this show, which for some strange reason always reminded me of Charlie Brown. Definitely reminded me of an inner city version of Charlie Brown with this said show. And one of my favorite characters during this show, I would have to say, Stoop Kid. Definitely Stoop Kid, that or Arnold himself, or even Gerald, due to the fact of how cool he was and the fact that for some strange reason his hair reminded me of Kid from House Party. And one of my favorite episodes, nay strike that, 2 of my favorite episodes for this said show would have to be, and this is a classic answer, folks, not only the episode with Stoop Kid, but also the other episode that featured Arnold trying to have the perfect Saturday and it going awry, but his grandma, who eventually would make him cheer up by singing a classic song called Look Up, which I would always look toward when I have a bad day. Yeah, especially after the day Arnold had during that episode where he tried to ride down the biggest hill and his bike got stuck in wet asphalt, and then also drinking soggy milk, and not to mention the theme park he was gonna go to being closed for construction. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite episodes. That or the one where they all got stuck in the subway car when the electric went out. And the one guy said, "Get out of my house!" Always makes me laugh. And this show, after well over 5 seasons and 100 episodes, would come to an end as of June 8th of 2004, but technically, folks, would make a resurgence after the Jungle movie, which would see 3 years ago removed as of November 24th of 2017, finally wrapping up the unanswered answers of Arnold's life and his parents, and bringing an end to Hey Arnold, or so to speak, according to the rumbles in the internet, with this show making some form of resurgence in the near future, depending on the success of the reboot of the Rugrats. Hold on, wait a minute, Maestro, they're rebooting the Rugrats? Well, if it worked for Double Dare, and if it worked for Figure It Out, and also a little bit for All That Online, I got a feeling it'll probably work for Hey Arnold if they decide to bring it back. But for those who wants to catch it on TV, you can catch it currently on the Splat, where it still airs to this very day in the middle of the night for a little bit of nostalgia for you fans at home. And seeing the fact that we don't know how to review TV shows along the lines of TV Guide or any of those other shows that you know of out there, we say this: if you want to watch an inner city version of Charlie Brown brought to life from claymation with a whole bunch of cool characters with their own personalities, all while Arnold tries to solve and save the day on a multitude of occasions, whether it be on the small screen, silver screen, or big screen, most likely lurking in the basement of your house for a cool pad that you have down there, almost as cool as Arnold's room, then I recommend you go out there, pick up your TV channel remotes, and watch that show. And by the way, secretly, just like every kid growing up in the world really wanted to live in a room just like Arnold had, because it was cool. It really was. And I guess with that said, folks, I think it's time for us to head back to the music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't go watching those infomercials just yet, folks, and stay tuned.